The 199th and final regular season game at the Georgia Dome. Saints with more wins here than any other visiting team. Atlanta at 10-5, New Orleans 7-8. Falcons won the toss, elected to defer, so Matt Bosher will get things started. And we are underway in Atlanta. Drew Brees and the Saints will start from their 25-yard line.
Well, Drew Brees had a bounce-back game the last couple of weeks, followed up two tough stretches earlier in the month with a win against Arizona, and then last week we had them against Tampa Bay. Everybody talked about how focused he was in his preparation there. You've seen him pregame here this afternoon. We saw his face on the sideline pre-kick. He's dialed in again for the New Orleans Saints.
Drew Brees has won more games here than any other opposing quarterback. 7 career wins at the Georgia Dome. As Mark Ingram shifts into the backfield, 60 yards shy of his first 1,000-yard season. On first down, Brees throws it into the ground.
Well, you mentioned, Kenny, the opportunity to have a 1,000-yard season, and a lot of people don't think it's that big a deal anymore with the 16-game schedule, but the league has become specialized. It's running back by committee. It's been fun to watch Mark Ingram down here the second half of the season. He's run very physical. I'm cheering for him. I hope he gets that 61 yards and goes over 1,000.
On second down, it's Ingram. He's now 61 away as he loses a yard.
It's going to be tough against this Atlanta defense. They've really improved since the bye week, and one of the big areas is communication, the speed throughout the front. Vic Beasley Jr. coming off the edge in the passing game. That will be one of the big question marks. Sean Payton, Drew Brees, one of the best at making sure they're protected on their pass plays.
Third down at 11. 3 receivers to the right. As Brees throws, it's short, intended for the tight end, Kobe Fleeter. So the Saints go 3 and out on their opening possession and will punt it away.
And that's a good job by the Falcons doing what they have to do against New Orleans. You have to create some negative plays early in the downs. First and second down, you can't allow New Orleans to get into that third and medium range and get into their rhythm.
Brees starts the game 0 for 2. Thomas Morstead waiting back at his 10-yard line. Eric Weems is back deep for the Falcons. Terrific kick. Taken at the 17 by Weems. He's across the 30 and down at the 31-yard line. Kasim Edebali, the special teams tackle for the Saints, a 59-yard punt. As Matt Ryan leads the Falcons offense out for the first time.
What a season he has had here, year 2 with Kyle Shanahan in this offense. Some bumps in the roads last season, but this year has been completely different. You see right there, an NFL record, 13 different touchdowns to receivers in this offense. It's about distributing the football that keeps the interceptions down. Just a great season for Matt Ryan.
Falcons start from the 32. Empty backfield. Devontae Freeman in the slot. And this is Freeman. Stays on his feet. Is across the 40. A first down out to the 45-yard line as Ryan hits Freeman for a gain of 13.
When you look at Atlanta, I think immediately you go to the outside. You worry about the matchups at the wide receiver position. But right there, empty set. You take the running backs out, whether it's Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. You break formation, get them on the outside. They create matchup problems as running backs on the outside.
3 wide receivers set. Julio Jones, bottom of your screen, split wide to the right. Now the Falcons empty the backfield on first down. As Ryan throws in Saints territory for another first down to the 42-yard line of New Orleans. It is a gain of 12 for Justin Hardy.
Now, one of the big reasons this offense has been so explosive this year, this group of 5, the only group of 5 in the NFL to start every game together this season. That continuity allows you to run the ball effectively, pass protection, and we've already seen Devontae Freeman today. I really think If you're going to knock off the Falcons, you've got to find a way to control Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman in the backfield.
Falcons without wide receiver Taylor Gabriel today due to a foot injury. Also without tight end Austin Hooper. Ryan over the middle, it's Freeman. And Freeman has another first down. He's inside the 20, the 15, and finally tackled inside the 10-yard line of the Saints.
You just can't do this. It can't be this easy for this offense. Watch your linebackers right here. They're going to peel to the outside. Watch the void they create. That's too much space right now. He is going to make you miss. Everybody rallies to the point of the catch. You get blockers downfield in this offense with the wide receivers and the tight ends. Falcons have come out and really found rhythm right off the bat.
3 plays, 3 first downs. They've scored on their opening possession down in 5 straight games. No team has done it 6 in a row in the Super Bowl era. The Falcons are the first. Tevin Coleman into the end zone for the Atlanta touchdown.
We've had discussions about the skill positions with several teams throughout the NFL this year, Kenny, and I really think that Atlanta has to be up at the top, and it really sets them apart with the running back combination of Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. I just don't know how you do all the coverage. You're coming out of the backfield here and just wide open. You know, a nice little play with Julio coming to the inside. You make Craig Robertson run underneath.
The extra point. 4th touchdown for Coleman against the New Orleans Saints this season. What an impressive opening drive. 7-0 Atlanta.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
What an opening drive for the Atlanta Falcons. 4 plays, 68 yards, 13, 13, 35, and 7.
But the complementary style that Atlanta started the game, the 3 and out, by their defense against the Saints offense, maybe more impressive than what the Atlanta offense did.
So now Drew Brees goes back to work, and you look at the numbers for both of these quarterbacks, Brees and Ryan, most consecutive 4,000-yard seasons. Brees now at 11.
Very impressive what they've been able to do here in the NFC South. And, you know, Matt Ryan comes in just a couple of years after Drew Brees arrives in New Orleans. So they've been battling it out here for about 9 years in the NFC South.
A 5,000 in reach for both. Brees is closer than Ryan. There have been 8 5,000-yard seasons in NFL history. Brees has done it 4 times.
The statistics that he's put up throughout his career are absolutely amazing.
Saints went 3 and out on their first drive. On the toss, it's Ingram. And Ingram is out to the 27. 8 of 2. He was in the building yesterday to watch his alma mater, Alabama, take on Washington.
And he really talked about the success this season being the commitment he made in the offseason. Remember, he's coming off a shoulder injury the end of last season, really focused on the strength training, getting his body ready for this season, feels he's as strong and as fast as he's ever been in his career.
Brees on 2nd down, over the middle, it's Ingram. And he'll be stopped just shy of the marker at the 34-yard line by the rookies, Deion Jones and Devontae Campbell.
I'm a big fan of what Mark Ingram brings to this offense, and I know it's difficult. Sean Payton has always been a running back by committee guy, maybe ahead of the curve with everybody else. And boy, there for Falcon fans to see Vic Beasley down on one knee. We talked about him at the very top. He's your game changer. And people refer to him as game wreckers in the passing game. You have to account for number 44, leads the NFL with 14.5 sacks this season. Just he goes on the twist inside and takes a shot from Jari Evans. Jari Evans is a big, strong man.
So Vic Beasley to the sidelines. Saints sent in 2 extra blockers, Tim Lolito and Landon Turner. 3rd down and 1. second effort. As the Saints move the chains, Ingram picks up the first down.
It's been amazing. We talk about the statistics that Drew Brees has put up as quarterback, but here's another guy. They seem to just be walking in step. It's like they have that sense, quarterback, head coach, of what the other guy is thinking, and it's been fun to watch them throughout their tenure together down in New Orleans, what they've been able to accomplish offensively year after year.
Brees steps up, throws to the outside. He was looking for the rookie Michael Thomas with Jalen Collins defending, and last week Sean Payton became the winningest head coach in New Orleans Saints history.
And one of the things you have to do when you're playing the Saints is you've got to be able to affect Drew Brees. And there's the hit right there, and people talk about sacks. If you're moving him off the spot, if you're hitting him after the throw, it has an impact during the course of the game.
Second down and 10 for the Saints. This is Ingram, and again unable to get back to the line of scrimmage.
I'm very impressed with the start by the Atlanta defense right now. We watched New Orleans versus Tampa Bay last week. Tampa Bay has a good defensive front. New Orleans offensive line did a nice job. Right now, Dan Quinn, the big thing that you'll see in this defense is the speed. He talks about run and hit, and that's what we have seen here by this defense to start this game. There are guys flying around. They are putting pressure on every play that New Orleans runs.
Three rookie starters on that Falcon defense. Third down and 11. Brees to a wide open Ingram. And Mark Ingram has another Saints first down out to midfield. He gains 14.
Just trusting the players around you to make a play. You know, 3rd and 11. We're going to throw it underneath to Mark Ingram. Watch him come out of the backfield. Just a simple arrow route. You're going to go out to the outside, now break back inside. A lot of depth by the linebackers of Atlanta to try and get back and cover up that deeper throw. So you drop it down to your running back. Give him a chance to get that first down.
Saints have run 9 plays, 6 touches early for Ingram. Now Tim Hightower checks in for the first time. First and 10 from the 49-yard line. And another first down. This is Brandon Cooks, who takes it to the Falcons 39 for a gain of 12.
We talked about the skill set that the Falcons can roll out, and one of those teams that's right there with them, obviously, when you're talking about the 2 best offenses in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints, the wide receiver group, what they do with the running back position, Traveris Cadet, what he does as a running back that can also lead formations similar to Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman for the Falcons.
Right, these two teams 1 and 2 in points, yards, and touchdowns this season. And this play is blown dead. Our first flag, it's a false start. Ron Torbert, our referee today.
False start. Offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
It's on the tight end, John Phillips.
Just little things, you know, Kenny. It doesn't seem like much, but, you know, getting into a 1st and 15, look at these stats. Even with offenses as high octane as New Orleans and Atlanta are, just a little mistake like that puts you behind the curve, puts you behind the chains. It's one of the things that Dan Quinn said they're going to have against the Saints.
This is Ingram. Ingram to the 41. Courtney Upshaw, the tackle, as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kenny. Like Atlanta, Seattle vying for that 2nd seed in the playoffs. Seattle was up 3-0 when Kaepernick hands it off to Sean Jerome for the 1-yard touchdown run. 49ers lead 7-3. Kenny, Darrell, and more.
All right, thanks, Carissa. Seattle would clinch a first-round bye with a win and a Falcons loss. Brees on 2nd down, following the penalty, connects with Thomas. And he's tackled at the 31-yard line by the New Orleans native Deion Jones after a gain of 10.
And what a great addition Michael Thomas has been to this Saints offense, working the underneath area right there. They pass him into the zone. And that'll be something that he learns as you're going through the zone to understand that Deion Jones is on the other side and he's coming your way. Good tackle. Look at the form tackle by Deion Jones.
Falcons still without linebacker Vic Beasley, receiving medical attention on the sideline. 10th play of the drive for the Saints. On the toss, it is Ingram. And he will not get there. Brian Poole, the rookie out of Florida, makes the stop. Ingram a yard shy.
What a great job by Brian Poole. Keep your eyes on 34. Watch him recognize it, come up, get inside Andrus Peat, the tackle. That's a difficult job for those big guys when they get on the outside. Well done by Brian Poole to get back inside and make the tackle.
Ingram only 5 yards on his first 6 carries. So the Saints leave their offense on the field on 4th down. Why not? 4th down and 1. Off the fake to Ingram. Breeze directing traffic. And now he throws, and Fleeter makes the catch for a Saints first down at the Falcons' 5-yard line.
I really think Drew Brees has a better opportunity to get this if he just tucks it and runs with it. And look at him hold, extends. Look at the confidence that he's going to be able to drop that in with 2 defenders in coverage. That's a heck of a throw.
Saints needed 1. They gained 25. They lead the league in red zone touchdowns. 1st and goal from the 5. 3 wide receivers set. On the delay, it is Ingram. And Ingram takes it down to the 1. Gain of 4 on the play.
I think anytime you play a team like New Orleans or like Atlanta, you're going to have to understand that they're going to make plays in that 4th and 1 situation. Atlanta does a really nice job defensively covering everything. Drew Brees really has no options. That's why I thought he may have tucked the ball down and tried to get it himself. But he makes a great throw into double coverage.
Now the Saints send in the fullback, Kuhn. Timeout taken by the Falcons as the Saints send in their jumbo package. Kuhn along with Tim Lolito. With just under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And the Saints looking to tie the game.
Well, that'll be one of the things that we'll keep our eye on here during the course of the game is the substitution that New Orleans challenges you with. They do so many things from a personnel standpoint, especially early in the game. And to the point where Dan Quinn had a little bit of fun with us when we talked to him on Friday, letting us know that he would talk to the officials before the game to make sure everybody was square on substitution rules.
And sometimes the Saints will wait and send 4 or 5 players in with the play clock around 10 or 15.
Yeah, and you've got to allow the defense to match, and when Atlanta does match, it's kind of a big sub package. You've got 4 or 5 guys that they're bringing on to try and match what New Orleans is doing from a personnel standpoint.
So the Saints with their jumbo package, 2nd and goal from the 1. Ingram, the running back. John Kuhn, the fullback, 3-time Pro Bowler. It's Ingram. And he is bottled up.
Great goal line defense by the Falcons right here. This is very impressive. We talk about speed. Leroy Reynolds right there. Great vision. Sees the blocks. Gets around to the outside. Watch him pop in. Mark Ingram thinks he's going to have a walk-in right there. That's a great job scraping off the down block to make the tackle.
Ingram limps off. Cadet in the backfield. Now Cadet moves to the slot right. 2 tight ends. Breeze throws to the end zone, and it is Fleeter who makes the catch for a Saints touchdown.
And Ricardo Allen, number 37, gets up, tells his coaches they need to challenge that. He says that Kobe Fleener did not possess it going to the ground. Saints trying to hustle the kicking team out onto the field. Possession, 2 feet through the process.
Now remember, you can't challenge. All scoring plays are reviewed automatically. So they will take a look at it upstairs.
There's possession. There's the 2nd foot. Now, Ricardo Allen, he gets a punch on that ball. It's loose right there. So he motions right away.
Ruled a touchdown on the field. All scoring plays are reviewed. We'll be back.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Strike gold and you can win Super Bowl tickets for life.
Back in Atlanta, the Saints touchdown is under review. Mike Pereira in Los Angeles, what do you see?
Well, I'll tell you, as we're watching the play, he's going to the ground, in my opinion, here. And now when he goes to the ground, watch the ball slip out of his hands onto his wrist.
The ruling on the field will be changed. The runner began going to the ground before completing the process of the catch. He lost control as he went to the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be New Orleans ball, 4th and goal, on the 1-yard line. The clock will start on the snap.
Ron Torbert and the league got that right. Remember, it's a process when you're going to the ground. You have to maintain control. And since the ball slipped out of his hands onto the wrist and he was out of bounds at that point, that makes it incomplete.
All right, thanks, Mike. So the ruling is reversed. Saints send out the field goal unit. The rookie Will Lutz, this was his home stadium in college at Georgia State. So familiar with the Dome. Grew up here in Georgia. Friends and family on hand today. And Lutz connects. He's hit 12 consecutive field goal attempts, 30 straight kicks in all.
On Fox is sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level. By the $10 any pizza carryout deal, only at Pizza Hut. And by Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet.
Just next door, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, new home of the Falcons, beginning next season.
What a facility that's going to be.
And they have some major events coming in.
They're hitting the ground running for sure.
National championship game in college football next year, followed by a Super Bowl, a Final Four. 15-play drive for the Saints. They thought they had a touchdown. The call was reversed. Lutz connected on a 19-yard field goal. And now the Falcons will start at their 25 with a 7-3 lead. Falcons know they will host at least one playoff game. This is their final regular season game at the Georgia Dome. It opened back in 1992. You played 4 games here, Darryl, including Super Bowl 28. You scored a touchdown back in October of 95 against the Falcons here at the Georgia Dome. Record of 3-1 for you.
Not bad. Not bad. 750.
Including the big one, Super Bowl 28.
The most important one.
So the Falcons go back to work from their 25-yard line. And Freeman found a hole. He's across midfield. Devontae Freeman inside the 20, the 10. Touchdown, 75 yards.
I thought it was really interesting talking to offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan about the 2 running backs. And he said, you know, a lot of people look at them and think they're very similar in what they do. They can do everything we ask them, but they've got some things that they would do better than the other. Devontae Freeman becomes your between-the-tackle guy. Here's Roman Harper, safety down in the box. You can't allow that to happen. You get everybody blocked up. Sterling Moore coming in from the outside as the corner support. And once Devontae Freeman gets a step on you, very rarely are you going to catch him from behind.
His longest career run. He goes over 1,000 yards for the season. And how about this? The Falcons have run 5 plays. They have 5 first downs and 2 touchdowns. 5 plays. Think they want the number 2 seed? Bryant, the extra point. Freeman takes it 75 yards into the end zone. 14-3 Atlanta. Devontae Freeman, 5th longest runner in Atlanta Falcons history, all 5 here at the Dome. And the Falcons lead 14-3 in the middle, offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan.
How much fun is he having with all these weapons out there? He talked about this offense being very, very challenging to opponents because of the traits. Because we've got a lot of guys with specific traits. It's hard to cover all of the different things that the guys on our offensive side of the ball can do. And right there you saw Devontae Freeman between the tackles, squaring people up in the hole, a 75-yard touchdown run with very small spaces, trusting the guys up front. And then one of the guys he was talking to on the sideline, Mohamed Sanu. And why is that? He's got the key block. You got a great down block with your right guard and right tackle, and then look at Mohamed Sanu get in there and dig out Roman Harper. The brotherhood that Dan Quinn preaches day after day, and everybody doing everything they can for their team. A great job by Mohamed Sanu getting in there and digging out the safety.
There's Raheem Morris, the assistant head coach, now on the offensive side. Former head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, defensive coach for most of his career. Breeze to Fleener, and what a reversal. Saints thought they had the Fleener touchdown moments ago. Goes to review, they wind up with a field goal, then on the next play, the 75-yard score by Freeman.
And this is the model that Dan Quinn is trying to build here in Atlanta. This offense is so explosive. You get out to a 14-3 lead. Now just think next year you're into your new facility, the Mercedes Dome, and now you're going to turn loose your speed rushers coming off the edge. Kind of like the same combination that the Colts did with Peyton Manning up in Indianapolis.
Second and one, it's Tim Hightower. Good second effort by Hightower. Looks to have a Saints first down.
And it's hard as an offense coming out and understanding, listen, we've got to make sure that we give our time for our defense to get rest. We've got to stay paced. It's very difficult balancing those nerves of, oh my gosh, Atlanta just jumped out 14-3 on us, the worst thing we could possibly let happen. You've got to stay true. You've got to be patient. Just keep chopping out there, making positive plays.
By the way, Philip Wheeler is in at linebacker for the injured Vic Beasley. Questionable return due to a shoulder injury. This is Thomas. And Thomas stayed in bounds. Picks up a first down. And in the process, Michael Thomas, the rookie out of Ohio State, goes over 1,000 yards for the season.
And this is an offense that, we talk about how good these wide receivers are. One of the other things is the run after the catch. I mean, all of them have that quality.
So Thomas joining Marcus Colston as the only Saints rookies with at least 1,000 yards receiving during their rookie seasons. Here's Hightower, and he has a first down and more inside the 25. Down to the 19-yard line of the Falcons. We saw Ingram limp off earlier, so Hightower in the game, and he picks up 25. And now some late flags.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Are they going to give that on Courtney Upshaw for initiating it, or did Tim Hightower get caught reacting to it? That's where it starts. Nothing gets called there. It kind of gets called after they start walking away.
Unsportsmanlike conduct by the defense, number 91. Initiated the confrontation with number 34. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That's
so
number 91's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty toward potential disqualification.
So it's Courtney Upshaw. And as you heard from Ron Torbert, one more penalty in a similar category and he would be ejected.
But we saw Tim Hightower, take a swing at Courtney Upshaw. Lucky that he didn't get flagged for taking the swing. But I do like that you pick out one person who initiated it right there. So you're not going after the reaction. You're actually going after the person who initiated the foul.
Right, good job by the officiating crew. Ingram back in. First and goal from the Falcons 10. As Ingram takes it inside the 5, another flag down to the 3-yard line.
Good to see Mark Ingram back out there. Last time they were down in close, got bent backwards.
During the run, holding, defense number 95, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's on the 12-year vet, Jonathan Babineau.
And the guys inside, you're trying to hold those offensive linemen. You don't want them to be able to climb up and get to that second level. That's when your big runs happen, is when your linemen get up to that second level. So Jonathan Babineau holding trying to prevent that from happening.
12th season with the Falcons. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Off the fake to Hightower. Breeze can't find anyone and now throws it through the back of the end zone.
Good job by the Falcons defense. Again, we talk about getting Drew Brees off his spot, getting hits on the quarterback. Watch, he's got to hold it. He's going to throw it away, but that allows Jonathan Babineau to come in, give him a little nudge, goes down to the ground.
It's second down.
This is Hightower, and he takes it in for a Saints touchdown.
Nice job by the Saints front right there. It's difficult to run wide out on the perimeter against Atlanta. We talked about that run hit mentality, the speed that they have. Watch him get it out leveraged right away. John Coote, good lead block on the outside. Leroy Reynolds kind of squeezes a little bit too long, makes it easy, and they've got the Falcons defense outflanked.
By the way, the Falcons defense included an offensive lineman. They sent out Ben Garland, number 63, along the D-line on that play.
Bigger bodies.
Garland at 6'5", 308. Here is Lutz. He adds the extra point. So Tim Hightower with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, pulling the New Orleans Saints to within 4 in Atlanta. Some early game headlines. Week 17, Buccaneers win their 9th, but still eliminated from postseason contention. Patriots clinch home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Tony Romo plays for the first time this regular season. Throws a touchdown pass, but Cowboys lose their regular season finale.
All 3 quarterbacks played today for Dallas.
Prescott, Romo, Sanchez. So the Cowboys finished 13-3. Number 1 seed in the NFC. 17 points scored the last 3:01 here in Atlanta, as the Falcons' high-flying offense heads back onto the field. Prior to today, over 500 points. They lead the league. 53 offensive touchdowns. 413 yards a game, trailing only the New Orleans Saints. First time these teams met, 77 points. Falcons won the game 45-32. We are closing in on 300 total yards here in the first quarter.
Unbelievable how
Let's see if we can get
these
there.
offenses are.
Need 16 yards in the final 52 seconds. Movement prior to the snap.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So Sheldon Rankins grew up in Georgia. So excited to finally play here. He said he attended one Falcons game as a youngster. Got to watch Michael Vick and the Falcons, but has never played at the Georgia Dome. And now here he is in the final regular season game. Ryan going deep on first down, looking for Julio Jones. There is a flag. The 11-year vet Roman Harper defending.
That's tough duty for Roman Harper right there. I mean, here's your marquee receiver for this Atlanta offense. Hand check in contact right upon arrival. If you can get your premier receiver isolated on the safety.
Defense, number 41. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
That's definitely something that Kyle Shanahan, you know, in his preparation, looking at formation personnel, how the Saints defend, getting that matchup that he's trying to create.
46-yard penalty. First and 10 from the Saints 24. Falcons empty the backfield. Final minute, first quarter. Now Ryan instructing his wide receivers. Ryan looking left on first down. And now he throws on the slant. And it's incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Levine Toilolo.
This seems like one of those plays that the offense wasn't in sync pre-snap. You can see Matt Ryan right there. A lot of adjustment out to the right. And then he actually had motion coming from the left side later in the play call. So just one of those plays that didn't look like it had a shot from the get-go.
And that was the first play the Falcons have run today in which they did not pick up a first down or score a touchdown.
Not a bad yards per play right there, Kenny.
A 75-yard touchdown run on their last possession. America's fastest growing sports show is on FS1.
Tomorrow, we debate Saints, Falcons, and look ahead to the playoffs.
And I'll tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Leave the predictions to the experts. Undisputed, 9:30 Eastern, FS1.
Could it be the Falcons? What do you think?
Why not? Why not? I tell everybody in Dallas, people ask, what is the one team we should be worried about? And we've had an opportunity to see a lot of these playoff teams in the NFC, and I keep telling them about this group. Dan Quinn has done a great job here in year two. The defense, you heard Jimmy Johnson talk about it in the pregame show. The defense is really the difference this season. They had great skill players last season, but now they're playing really good complementary football.
On 2nd and 10, Ryan finds Julio Jones inside the 10. And finally down at the 3-yard line of the Saints.
They're just everywhere. You don't know what to do. You play zone coverage. Here comes the blitz. And Julio Jones runs right through it. I mean, it's amazing sometimes where the one guy that you have to stop seems to be able to pop up uncovered throughout a defense.
Time winding down in this first quarter. And the Falcons will not get the snap off in time, so they will head down to the other end. A win clinches the number 2 seed for the Falcons. They lead the Saints on America's Game of the Week, 14-10. Final regular season game at the Georgia Dome. These fans hope to see at least 2 postseason games here over the coming month. First and goal from the 3. As we begin the second quarter. And this play is blown dead.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's on the left guard, Andy Levitri.
Maybe more important on that play, a little mix-up between Matt Ryan and Tevin Coleman on which way to go with the ball.
Well, we did hit over 300 combined yards in the first quarter. 24 points, 17 first downs. First and goal from the 8 following the penalty. As Ryan throws, it is Julio Jones, and he is tackled inside the 1. Greg Robertson the stop.
Saints defense is doing a nice job mixing it up, trying to challenge Matt Ryan. We've seen man coverage, zone coverage down here, zone blitz schemes. But this offense is just so efficient. Dennis Allen mixing it up well, but can't seem to get this offense out of rhythm.
Second and goal. Freeman in the backfield. Ryan throws. Jones. Touchdown.
Just so many attributes that Julio Jones has playing the wide receiver position, the size, the speed, the ability to change direction at that size. But watch the footwork here as well against B.W. Webb. Beats him immediately, but watch him get the toes down. Catches it at the highest point. Tap, tap.
Falcons with touchdowns on all 3 of their possessions. Matt Bryant, leading scorer in the league this season. 21-10 Atlanta. First touchdown the last 5 games for Julio Jones as Matt Ryan celebrates. Back in 30 seconds. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnson, Laura Oakman back in Atlanta. How about that bottom line for the Falcons? 3 touchdowns on 9 plays.
It's unbelievable how explosive this offense is. And when we talked to Jarvis Byrd, they played in week 3, and I thought it was interesting as you got ready for the game to see the changes in both of these teams from week 3 to week 17. And Jarvis Byrd told us, as explosive as they were in week 3, they are more explosive now at the end of the season.
Falcons have already scored 40 points in a game 5 times. Matt Ryan now with 2 touchdown passes today, 36 on the season, so he's now tied with Aaron Rodgers for the league lead. Drew Brees one behind. Thought he had his 36th earlier. So early second quarter, Brees and the Saints offense back onto the field, trying to keep up with what the Falcons offense has done.
Exactly. I mean, it's you've got to stay with your plan. You've got to stay with what you've got on that card called and not panic when Atlanta is having the success that they're having. It's been a methodical approach by the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they're moving the ball effectively, taking their time, but it's hard sometimes to fight that urge to step out of your comfort zone, and that's exactly what Atlanta's offense forces the other offense to do, to step out of that comfort zone, try to press a little bit because they're so explosive at scoring points.
First and 10, 25-yard line as Brees hits Ingram. But he's tackled behind the line by Paul Warlow as we head to Los Angeles for another game break. Here's Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. As we head to Washington, Giants up 3-0 when Eli hands it off to Rashad Jennings for this 2-yard score. A Redskins loss puts the Packers and the Lions in the playoffs. Seeding would be the only thing left to determine. Giants up 10-0. Kenny, Darryl, and more.
All right, thanks, Carissa. Giants locked into the 5 seed.
I kind of laugh a little bit. Yeah, the Giants have locked in at the 5th seed. What do they have to play for? It's the Redskins. It's in the division. There's a lot to play for.
It's heading into the playoffs on a win.
The way the Giants always win.
Right. The 2 most recent Super Bowls. Brandon Cooks makes the catch. And good news for the Falcons, guys. Vic Beasley has returned to the field.
Great news for the Falcons because it's a critical element of this defense. The ability to be that person that coordinators have to account for in your protection scheme. You may have a great play drawn up, love it on film. All of a sudden you take a look at what Atlanta does defensively. You know what? Maybe this isn't great with the athleticism that Vic Beasley has. Let's kind of put this one on the shelf.
Heading to his first Pro Bowl, one of 6 Falcons who are named to the NFC squad. 3rd down and 8. Saints must get to the 35 for a first down. Brees in trouble, gets rid of it, and then Deion Jones got a hand on it.
One of the things that New Orleans is going to try and do, they're going to try and change formational strength. They're going to motion people across because it has an impact on what Atlanta does. You can see right there. Adrian Claiborne changing all the way to the other side as they redesignate strength. Boy, Deion Jones just one step away. He had a big one in week 3 against Drew Brees.
Right, a 90-yard return back home in New Orleans. Weems back deep. Morstead punting for the 2nd time. Wow. Forcing Weems all the way back to the 16. And he will be tackled shy of the 25-yard line. Nate Stupar, the ex-Falcon, getting downfield for the Saints. Big numbers throughout their careers, season, and today. Brees and Ryan.
Sponsored by Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand.
3 touchdowns on 3 possessions, only 9 plays run by the Falcons. They have 8 first downs. what happened on that other play? Here's Freeman, and he gets wrapped up. So now 2 plays without a first down for Atlanta. They've scored 21 points. They've had the ball for under 4 minutes.
Now, I think this is what Chip Kelly was talking about when he came to Philly. The time of possession is a meaningless stat in the NFL. Well, you have to be doing something like Atlanta's doing with it every time they have the ball. And maybe, this Saints defense has an opportunity right now on this drive to just kind of steady themselves a little bit.
Ryan 7 of 8 to start the game, 2 touchdown passes. Play action on 2nd and 9, and it's Julio Jones for a Falcons first down out to the 43.
I just don't know how you cover this guy. I mean, he's fearless going up into the middle of the field. A nice release there, gets back up on the stem so he can take the inside route. Knows he's going to take a hit from Jarris Byrd. Elevated, exposed.
Heading to his 4th Pro Bowl, 18-yard pickup. Not only 1 catch in that first meeting. Falcons were outstanding on the ground in that game as Freeman gains 3 out to the 46. Devontae Freeman with a 75-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Was over 1,000 yards for the 2nd time in his career. Julio Jones, 4 receptions today, now has 80 on the season, chatting with his head coach. 2nd down and 7. Ryan with time on 2nd down, throws near side, and it is complete in Saints territory to Aldrick Robinson for a 17-yard pickup.
It's just like there's not enough defenders on the field to cover all these weapons. Nice route right here, gets BW Webb to turn, quick break to the sideline.
Ryan has completed passes to 5 different Falcon teammates so far today. This is Freeman, and he's tackled at the 35-yard line by Nick Fairley, gain of 2. Back to Los Angeles, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. In San Francisco, 14-6 after a fumble recovery. Seattle takes advantage. Russell Wilson, 11-yard touchdown to Luke Wilson. An Atlanta win and Seattle win. Seattle gets the 3 seed. 49ers lead 14-13. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. Atlanta, 2 seed with a win. Seattle would be the 2 seed with a win and a Falcons loss. On 2nd down, this is Coleman. Tevin Coleman to the Saints 33. Cameron Jordan, the tackle.
And here's that changeup at the running back position. We've seen what Devontae Freeman can do. Now you're going to get Tevin Coleman, and he's more of that slasher guy. So now you have to be ready for the perimeter run game. And Sean Payton was talking to his defensive guys this week. Understand when they do this outside zone, it's going to be a little bit wider. Their landmarks are a little bit wider when Tevin Coleman has the ball. Now you switch it up. Here comes Devontae Freeman. Now you want to maybe focus on runs in between the tackles.
First time the Falcons have gotten to 3rd down today. 3rd down and 6. Ryan's pass is caught for a first down by Mohamed Sanu. So the Falcons convert, move the chains, gain of 10 for the ex-Cincinnati Bengal.
Still one of the funniest things that we've ever had. You get a chance to sit down with Peyton Manning, and he said, why should we wait till 3rd down to get a first down? It's exactly what Atlanta's doing here today. Just so explosive that they're converting on 1st and 2nd down.
Now 1 for 1 on 3rd. Ryan on 1st down, it's complete. Toilolo. Another Falcons first down to the New Orleans 5.
This is such a good play design because it's a tiered route. It's a bootleg out to the right, but it's a slow drag with Levine Toilolo, the tight end, right here. So everybody, he goes all the way down inside, gets completely lost. Now he just kind of slides back out. But you had receiver in the flat, receiver intermediate, and receiver deep. The defense turned and ran, covered that portion really well, but they forgot about the tight end.
1st and goal from the 5. It is Coleman. Remember, the Falcons have scored a touchdown on every possession today, each of their first 3.
Dennis Allen right now just must be, oh my, we're doing everything we can. I don't know what to do to stop these guys.
Dennis Allen, whose father played for the Falcons. Dennis coached here. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for Atlanta. Midway through the second quarter. 3 receivers to the right side. 2nd and goal. And this play is blown dead. Movement prior to the snap. False start.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Left tackle Jake Matthews.
I got to get those cleaned up. Can't have those at home, not in your own stadium. And it's one of the things that Matt Ryan said they'd gotten better at second half of the season. He said early on we had some issues with procedural problems, and we were getting stuck in 2nd and 15, 1st and 15s. We get it to 3rd and 1 and get a 3rd and 6. So they've cleaned that up here down the stretch. Can't have those in the red zone.
This pushes the Falcons back to the 10-yard line. 10th play of the drive for Atlanta. As Coleman sets up in the backfield to the left of Matt Ryan. 3 receivers to the right. Ryan steps up, and now he throws. End zone touchdown. Mohamed Sanu.
This is one of the areas that I think Matt Ryan has really taken that next step and elevated his play this season to have a type of year where you're being mentioned in the MVP candidacy. Watch this as he climbs up in the pocket, eyes down the field. His movement within the pocket has really improved this year. Now they've got the bootlegs and the different type of movement things where they get him on the edge, but when the play breaks down and Matt climbs in the pocket, extends it just a little bit, I think that's really been a big part of his game this year.
First touchdown last 7 games for Sanu. His 4th of the season. Bryant the extra point. 4 touchdowns on 4 possessions. And Matt Ryan is now the league leader. His 37th scoring pass of the season. Well, Dower, you mentioned it. Matt Ryan certainly a candidate for NFL Most Valuable Player. Of course, Ezekiel Elliott. What a rookie season for the Cowboys. Tom Brady and the Patriots, unbelievable once again. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers looking to win their division tonight.
Yeah, and our own Terry Bradshaw in the pregame show went with Matt Ryan from the list that they had compiled, and he's just had a tremendous year. You mentioned it on that last touchdown throw. Now he leads the NFL, and he's only has 7 interceptions. And with all the guys around that he has as weapons, the distribution, it puts his touchdown total up and his interception total down.
3 touchdown passes today. Only 1 incompletion. He's 12 of 13. Back in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Hidden Figures. Friday, only in theaters.
Atlanta Falcons, their final regular season home game ever at the Georgia Dome. Have put together a near-perfect first half. They've scored touchdowns on each of their 4 possessions. Lead the Saints 28-10. On the toss, it is Ingram. And Mark Ingram takes it out to the 32-yard line. His best run of the day, a pickup of 7.
And we talked about at the top, he needed 60 yards coming in to get to that 1,000-yard plateau as a running back. And only the 2nd season in his NFL career to get through 16 games, and that's one of the things you're going to have to do to get to that 1,000-yard total. So he's getting closer.
22 today, needs 38. Saints' longest active drought as Rankins heads off. No 1,000-yard rushers since Deuce McAllister in 2006. And here's Ingram, big yardage on this play as he is forced out of bounds close to midfield. He gains 17, so is now just 21 shy.
Good quick decision to bounce outside, and for all you young guys, now watch where he's got the ball. He's got it in the outside hand. Why is that important? You can use your stiff arm. You keep it away from the defender.
Hightower in for Ingram. Off the fake toss to Hightower. Breeze sets and throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Michael Thomas to the Falcons' 26-yard line as Thomas gains 25.
You know, sometimes you wonder if anybody is covered in Drew Brees' eyes. Watch the coverage on this one with Michael Thomas. You're getting trailed by Paul Warlow right there. It just gets it right over his left shoulder to Michael Thomas.
Thomas coming into the game, Darryl, 82 receptions, 20 more than any other rookie in the league. That's how wide the gap was. 3 catches today for Thomas. From the Falcons, 26. Breeze on the slant. He was looking for Thomas once again.
Well, the Saints organization does a great job of finding those wide receivers to come in and play in this offense run by Drew Brees, whether it's Brandon Cooks high in the draft, Michael Thomas second-round draft pick. You find a guy like Willie Snead right there in the slot. Nobody seems to be able to find a way to get him productive on the field. Willie Snead comes to New Orleans and plays lights out. Using the head as a little brace to get up.
That would not feel good. Here's Ingram. Gains a yard down to the 25. Under 5 minutes remaining, second quarter. In Atlanta, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston. For an open final regular season game for the Falcons and the Saints. Atlanta heading to the postseason.
I really compliment Sean Payton right now, not getting caught up in this track meet style offense that Atlanta's running. His offense comes out methodical down the field. There's pressure on you to get points with every possession, but they're not trying to chase it, keep up pace with this Atlanta Falcons offense. It's had an unbelievable first half.
Saints know what it feels like from the other side throughout the Peyton Breeze era, as Cooks will not pick up the first down. He was ruled down at the 22-yard line, and the Saints will send out the field goal unit.
You've got to get your points, and you run it short of the first down, hoping that Brandon Cooks can catch it, make somebody miss, but there's another one of these young guys, Keanu Neal, here for the Atlanta Falcons. They've got a really, really good group of young defensive players that are just continue to grow and get better.
Cooks ruled down before the ball came out, so here's Lutz, 40-yard attempt. Hit from 19 earlier. Out of Georgia State. And his kick is good, so 13 in a row for Will Lutz.
Game is sponsored by Mobile Strike. Download right now, free from the App Store.
The changeover following the Peach Bowl yesterday, Alabama and Washington. The game ended less than 24 hours ago.
And a big thank you and a big shout out to our crew, because when you have these types of changeovers and the college game is going out, we have to wait until our guys can come in to set up for us this afternoon. So I think some of them actually rang in the new year here at the Georgia Dome last night.
Yes, many of them did.
One even in an elevator.
Yeah, one in an elevator. That was 2016, turned to 2017. He's to our right in the broadcast booth, cameraman extraordinaire Win Bernfeld, as Weems takes a knee, and we head to Los Angeles. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Seattle trailing 14-13 late in the second quarter. Thomas Rawls, 1-yard touchdown run, and after a blocked extra point, the Seahawks lead 19-14. Of course, the Hawks trying to keep pace with Atlanta for that 2 seed. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. So a Seattle win and an Atlanta loss, and the Seahawks would get the bye, 2 seed. Atlanta gets the 2 seed with a win. Detroit could still finish in the number 2 spot, or they could miss the playoffs. Many different possibilities for the Lions. Falcons with touchdowns on their first 4 possessions. They also did it against Green Bay earlier this season as Ryan fires, and the catch is made by Aldrick Robinson for a Falcons first down. Gain of 19, so the Cowboys locked into the number 1 seed. Falcons with a win get the 2. Giants locked into the 5. And the Redskins need to win, but they trail the Giants 10-0.
And I really do like the approach that Dan Quinn took for his team coming into this game. Not worrying, not talking about establishing that number 2 seed and getting that bye, but more, let's just finish the right way within our division. They've come out and played excellent here in the first half.
From the 44 on first down, it is Freeman. And he works his way out to the 46-yard line. You mentioned the Lions. How can they get the 2 seed? They would have to beat the Packers tonight and hope that both the Falcons and the Seahawks lose their games, and then Detroit would be the 2.
One of the things that Matt Ryan told us was, I have all the confidence in the world with my guys on the outside. I'm not bragging on them. I'm not being disrespectful of what the Saints have as a defense. I just feel great with our matchups on the outside. The big thing is, can we control that Saints defensive line, that defensive front? And they have done a really good job. The offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons has done a nice job. It allows the running game to get going. When this Atlanta run game gets moving the way it has today with the explosive plays and what these guys can do, it puts so much stress on that defense.
Saints use their first timeout. Now 2nd down and 8. Ryan under pressure on 2nd down, throws it away. Falcons closing in on 300 yards of offense in the first half.
You talk about a big snap here. The Saints defense has got Atlanta, and it tips towards their defense, the advantage here. 3rd and long situation. What does Kyle Shanahan dial up here? This Saints offense needs to get off the field without Atlanta scoring any points. Give their offense a chance to try and close this gap here.
Only the 2nd time the Falcons have gotten to 3rd down. They converted the first time. Let's get to the New Orleans 46-yard line. And they will. It is Hardy. Takes it all the way down to the Saints 37. Justin Hardy needed 8 and he gained 17.
Just the confidence to be able to come out here and make plays. Justin Hardy on the outside. Obviously you're going to focus on Julio Jones in the deep route. Just a nice job. Break into the outside, then back inside versus Sterling Moore.
Perfect passer rating for Matt Ryan. Falcons do not have to run a play as we approach the 2-minute warning. And this is Freeman. And a late flag is thrown.
Another reason that was a big opportunity for the Saints defense to get a stop. Atlanta deferred at the beginning of the game. So they're going to get the ball coming out here again at the second half. It's kind of working out exactly how you plan it when you do to the deferment.
Holding. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty from the end of the play. Automatic first down. This is the 2-minute warning.
That's on Nick Fairley. So we have hit the 2-minute warning in Atlanta. Falcons 4 touchdowns, 4 possessions as they look for the first round bye. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. America's Game of the Week from the Georgia Dome. Falcons lead 28-13 from the Saints 30. This is Sanu, and he's inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Gain of 15 for Mohamed Sanu.
And they just throw so many different things at you, make you defend so much of the field.
New set of downs for the Falcons. A minute and a half remaining. Second quarter in Atlanta. First and 10 from the Saints 15. Ryan to the outside, it's Freeman. Clock continues to run. Freeman picks up 7.
It's funny talking to Kyle Shanahan. I'm a big hang your hat guy. There should be an element of your offense that you kind of hang your hat on when you get into the red zone, when you have critical snaps during the game. And he said the thing that we hang our hat on is making the defense uncomfortable, having them step out of their comfort zone, because we do have so many weapons with unique traits on the offensive side of the ball. We can do virtually anything we can to create that mismatch.
3 receivers to the left side. Now Nick Williams shifts to the right. Second down and 3. As Freeman takes it to the Saints 6-yard line. And a timeout is taken with 35 seconds remaining in the first half. And we've been talking about the fact that the Falcons can earn the bye with a win today. You won 3 Super Bowls. You had the bye every time. We've also seen some wild card teams go all the way in recent years. How important is that bye?
Well, during the time that I played, it was very important. It was the number 1 or number 2 seed in the NFC that was going to the Super Bowl on a regular basis. We've seen in the last decade and a half, the 2000 Ravens, we've seen the Packers, the Steelers, the Giants take the wild card route. I think what it really boils down to is who's playing really good football in the month of December. Right now, you've got the Atlanta Falcons, potentially the number 2 seed, playing some of the best football in the NFL. So there's that dangerous combination of the bye, home field that first week. Something funny happens in Dallas. All of a sudden, you're hosting the NFC Championship game.
3rd down and 2 as Ryan throws, end zone, touchdown! Justin Hardy.
Remember, the ball just has to break the plane when it goes in, so where is it when he first catches it? You can see right there, he has broken the plane. Sterling Moore with the hit, knocks Justin Hardy out.
Ball breaks the plane. 5 touchdowns on 5 possessions for the Falcons. 4th of the season for Hardy.
Wide receiver coach Raheem Morris, proud of his guys again. We've talked about this group, how deep they are, how much they challenge. Dan Quinn told us he was out looking for a wide receiver coach. Couldn't find somebody he had a connection with. Went to Raheem Morris, asked him to switch because a football coach is a football coach.
They were together at Hofstra back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Dan Quinn as a coach, Raheem Morris as a player, back together in Atlanta. Falcons lead 35-13. What's coming up at halftime, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, earlier today, New England wrapped up the AFC's home field advantage. Meanwhile, Oakland is playing right now. So is Kansas City. Both those teams trying to be the number 2 seeds in the playoffs. Join me for the Visa halftime report.
Well, I don't know if Oakland's really playing. They're down 17-0 to Denver, so they're out there, Kenny, but I don't know if they're playing.
What do you think of those hats, by the way, on the guys?
I like it.
New Year's hats. What a season for Oakland. Despite trailing 17-0. Well, a happy new year for the Falcons. First time they've scored touchdowns on their first 5 drives since New Year's Day 2012 against the Bucs.
Everybody make note of that in the NFC South. And the next time the calendar comes around on January 1st, make sure you've got your pass defense ready to play.
Not forgetting, Falcons have also, in their final regular season game here at the Dome, they've tied their franchise record most points in the first half. They did it back in 2009 at San Francisco. So it's the most points they've ever scored in the first half at the Georgia Dome. As we head back to Los Angeles for an update with Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Here's a little AFC West update. You guys were talking about it. Trevor Siemian to Devontae Booker has the Broncos up 17-0. Matt McGloin left the game with a shoulder injury. Connor Cook is in for the Raiders. Then we head to San Diego. Alex Smith to Sharkhandrick West, plus an additional field goal after that score. KC is up 20-10. If these scores held, Oakland would drop to 5. KC goes to 2. Hope you got all that, Kenny.
Absolutely. Thanks, Carissa. So that's what Oakland's playing for. They could drop to 5. New England clinched the number 1 seed earlier today.
Oh boy, lose Derek Carr and now potentially lose Matt McGloin, your backup.
Breeze to Fleener. Final half minute of the quarter. Incomplete. So Kansas City needs a win and an Oakland loss. And if those two results take place, Andy Reid's Chiefs would be the 2 seed. And they would have a bye next weekend. 2nd down and 10 as Breeze is tackled by Vic Beasley. It's behind the line. 15.5 sacks for Vic Beasley, 1 shy of John Abraham's franchise record.
Speed rush off the edge, but that time just kind of playing back underneath. Very quick defense. They cover ground all 3 levels have excellent speed.
First half comes to an end. Beasley into the shoulder earlier, returns, sacks Drew Brees on the final play of the first half.
Nice job coming back underneath.
What a season for Vic Beasley. And to make matters worse for the Saints, as you mentioned, the Falcons deferred, so they will get the ball first following halftime. Matt Ryan with 4 touchdown passes in the first half.
And this has just been a machine here by the Atlanta Falcons, and everybody's in the mix like it is week after week. So many weapons on this offensive side of the ball for the Atlanta Falcons.
Coleman, Jones, Sanu, and Hardy with the touchdown receptions today. Devontae Freeman also ran one in from 75 yards out. So the Falcons with 5 touchdowns on 5 possessions in the first half as we send it to Los Angeles for Kurt and the gang with the Visa halftime report. Back in Atlanta, first half moments brought to you by Febreze. Freeman found a hole. He's across midfield. Touchdown, 75 yards. Ryan throws, Jones. Touchdown. Ryan steps up, and now he throws, end zone, touchdown. First half moments brought to you by Febreze. Here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Falcons score a touchdown on all 5 possessions, over 300 yards for the Falcons.
As impressive a first half of offense as I've seen this year, Kenny.
And because the Falcons deferred at the start of the game, they will get the ball first to begin the second half. And they will start at the 25-yard line. Matt Ryan with 4 touchdown passes in the first half, matching his career best. And one of the questions now that we'll talk about over the next hour or so is how long does Dan Quinn leave the starters in the game?
Yeah, this was not about winning and securing the bye and the number 2 seed. This was about finishing out the division, putting your stamp on it. I think we put a pretty good stamp on it there in the first half. Now, how long do you leave Matt Ryan in? How long do you leave the key guys on this football team out there? Julio Jones missed a couple of games there in the month of December with a toe. So, you know, when does all of a sudden your thinking shift to getting ready now for the next challenge in the season?
Matt Ryan, the first Falcons quarterback with 4 touchdown passes in the first half of the game in franchise history, as Freeman gains a couple, and we head downstairs to Laura.
I'm going to help answer that question. When does the thinking shift for Dan Quinn? Not right now. He told the team at halftime, do not look at that scoreboard. We need to come out here offensively, defensively, special teams, all 3 phases, be ready for their big shot because they're going to take it, and we need to finish this out. The only thing we are thinking about right now, not the scoreboard, the start of the third quarter and finishing strong.
All right, thanks, Laura. We will keep an eye on it. With the Falcons leading 35-13, second down and 8. As Ryan's pass is caught out at the 32-yard line by Hardy.
His messaging is so good to the team to create a single focus, and talk about somebody who was focused in the first half.
Twice as many touchdowns as incompletions. Leading the NFL now with 38 touchdown passes. Falcons 3 for 3 on third down in the first half. Third down and 2. Ryan in trouble, and he is sacked for the first time today. It's Nick Fairley breaking through.
Well, you finally make a stop. Your defense comes out here to start the second half, and that had to be a huge point of messaging in the Saints locker room because they played that deferment perfectly. You get an opportunity at the end of the half to get points. You're coming right back out in the second half, and you're going to get the football. It's up to that Saints defense to come out and force a 3 and out to get the ball back to Drew Brees.
That's a career high, 6.5 sacks for Fairley. So Matt Bosher out to punt for the first time as the Falcons go 3 and out after scoring touchdowns on all 5 first half possessions. Fair catch is called for by Tommy Lee Lewis. Nearly had some trouble with it. So the Saints will take over at their 24, early third quarter.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the $10 any pizza carryout deal, only at Pizza Hut. And by Ram Trucks, America's longest lasting pickups.
Interesting way to spend New Year's weekend in Atlanta.
That's still one of the most amazing places I've ever had the chance to visit, the Georgia World Aquarium. It's unbelievable. It's just a cool design, cool displays. New Orleans has the World War II Museum, so fans in the NFC South, you can take some great road trips.
And then on Sunday, it's the Falcons and Saints wrapping up the regular season as Breeze throws and it's complete. Willie Snead out to the 44-yard line, gain of 20, down to Laura.
I talked to Sean Payton at halftime, who said, we haven't stopped them in a single series. We have to go in at halftime, look at what we're doing, and not do that. It's not working. So we've got to be better. Hardest thing is what he said you guys have been talking about offensively, not abandoning their game plan to keep up with this offense. Said we have to play smart, not settle for field goals. We need touchdowns. Kenny.
Thanks, Laura, with that last completion. Drew Brees goes over 5,000 yards for the season once again. Hands it off to Ingram on first down. So it's been done 9 times. Brees with 5 of the 9.
It's just unbelievable. And at this stage of his career, and we talked about this last week with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady saying he hopes to play into his early 40s, mid 40s. I don't see any reason why Drew Brees would not be able to do that same thing if he elects to do so. He is playing so well at this stage of his career. I mean, he's a tireless worker. His work ethic allows his body to be ready to play. His preparation during the course of the week gives him that extra advantage. And the chemistry that he and Sean Payton have developed in their time together in New Orleans, just unbelievable. Look at these numbers.
Highest career completion percentage, 3rd all time in passing yards, 3rd in career touchdown passes, and his 5th 5,000-yard season today, and of course, most importantly, a Super Bowl champion. Here's Brees on 2nd and 9. As he was looking to add to those totals, and he's taken down back at the 35-yard line.
Good push from the inside by Grady Jarrett. Gee, little extra.
Oops. 4th sack of the season for Jarrett. 3rd down and 18. Brees checks it down to Ingram. Not nearly enough. So now the Saints will punt it away.
A huge play by Grady Jarrett on that sack to get them into that 3rd and long situation. We saw the Saints defense come out, get the 3 and out. Now their offense comes out, and Laura had talked to Sean coming out of halftime. We can't get caught in that track beat mentality. And you go down and get points right there. I think you can settle down now. Here comes Atlanta back out on the field. So a missed opportunity out near midfield by the Saints offense.
Morstead's first 2 punts, 59 and 57 yards. Another good one here. And Tommy Lee Lewis attempting to keep it out of the end zone, and he did. Excellent job by Lewis. Watch every live 2017 NFL playoff game in HD, all data free on NFL Mobile. Ryan throwing out of the end zone, intended for Jones, and it's Sterling Moore who breaks it up.
Well, that's just evidence about the way that this team is structured under Dan Quinn as your head coach. He wants everything to be aggressive. Offensively, defensively, special teams, even play calling and coaching. I mean, 1 yard line, you're taking a shot down the field. You're trying to go for the big play coming off your own end zone.
Only the 3rd incompletion of the day for Ryan.
Good job by Julio Jones working back to prevent the interception by Sterling Moore.
Now 2nd and 10 for the Falcons from the 1-yard line. Ryan again looking to throw from the end zone, gets rid of it, and the catch is made by Jones for a Falcons first down out of the 16.
All the Falcon fans holding their breath on that play right there. Your quarterback is climbing up in the pocket. He's exposed, can take the big hit, land funny, anything can happen, but he finds a way to get the conversion. And again, I think that's the part of the game that Matt has really kind of taken it to the next level, his ability to move up in the pocket and make the throws down the field.
Play action on first down as Ryan connects with Jones once again. Out of the 39-yard line, another Falcons first down, 23-yard pass play.
Now, there's nothing really conservative in the play calling by the Atlanta Falcons offense. I mean, coming off your own end zone, backed up at your 1-yard line, and you come out and you've thrown the ball on every play in this series. And you're extending it down the field. You're trying to push it vertically down the field.
From the 39-yard line on first down, it's Coleman. And Tevin Coleman into Saints territory. And he's finally tackled by Von Bell. Yet another big play as Coleman gains 24. And we head for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Alex Smith intercepted by Jaleel Adai, returned 90 yards. Now, Casey's looking to get the 2 seed. They would need a win and a Raiders loss. Oakland currently trailing the Broncos 24-0. Now, if both the Chiefs and the Raiders lose, the Raiders get the 2 seed. Chiefs up 2017. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. Ryan's pass was deflected and then falls incomplete. Thought of Davison getting a piece of it.
They've done such a good job in their protection. Haven't really gotten to Matt. Good job by Tyler Davidson as he kind of slides across into the throwing lane, getting that hand up.
So now 2nd and 10 for the Falcons, who clinched the 2 seed on a bye with a victory. They scored touchdowns on all 5 of their first half possessions. Matt Ryan tying his career high with 4 touchdown passes. First time a Falcon has thrown 4 in the first half of the game. Ryan's pass complete. Taken to the 28-yard line by Freeman.
And this is exactly what we're talking about from a matchup situation. Von Bell, a safety, has to take Devontae Freeman if you go man coverage, because you have to respect all the receivers on the outside. There's just so many weapons to choose from. Somewhere along the formation, there's going to be a matchup that Matt Ryan favors.
Gain of 8, 3rd down and 2. Ryan throws on 3rd down on the slant. It is Jones for a Falcons first down to the Saints 17.
And now you take Devontae Freeman and you put him on a swing route. He's going to run a swing route to the outside, and he's going to open up this window for Julio Jones. He takes Von Bell out of that window and allows the clean throwing lane for Matt Ryan.
From the same 17, it's Freeman. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 upcoming.
It seems like they're in a race to see if they can score from 99 yards out faster than anybody has.
Right.
And it's just been so up-tempo, fast-paced, aggressive down the field.
Drive started at their 1-yard line. 9th play of the drive coming up. 2nd down and 8.
Tough to beat Tony Dorsett's time in the 99-yard drive, though, Kenny.
True. Up in Minnesota. There's Freeman. And a nice tackle made by Paul Kruger. Gain of just 1, 3rd down and 7.
And I'm kind of surprised that Atlanta has just been so efficient here today, because in week 3 there was a number of people that weren't available. Paul Kruger's there, but he just got to New Orleans. You know, Sterling Moore, some of these guys, you know, they had been acclimated into the system, yet they had so many injuries early on that the score that you had in week 3, yeah, you can understand that, but this defense had gotten better and better as the year went on, so that just speaks to how well Atlanta is playing offensively today.
3rd down and 7 for the Falcons. Ryan throws near side. It is Nick Williams. And Williams picks up a 1st down. His 5th catch of the season. Gain of 10.
Nick Williams, number 15, is going to motion across. And remember, we've got touchdown passes to 13 different receivers. There's Nick Williams. He doesn't have one yet this year. That's one of the things Dan Quinn was upset with when he found out 13 guys had one. His first question was, well, who doesn't that should or could?
Right. Off the play fake. Ryan sets and now throws back to the end zone. Hardy was out of bounds.
All right, well, that's the 3rd time that Matt Ryan has taken a hit on this drive. Levine Toilolo, number 80, working down inside and then trying to get lost again. We saw him get lost earlier in the 1st half. Trying to come back to Justin Hardy as well. But Matt Ryan, we had that play coming out of the end zone. Took a hit, could have landed awkwardly. Nick Fairley on that play hit him and drove him to the turf.
Second and goal from the Saints 4. Off the fake to Coleman. Ryan looking end zone. He throws. Again, Hardy the intended receiver, no flags.
So getting down here right now with you've got Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. I'd like to run the ball because this is what you have the potential for. I mean, there's Cameron Jordan and Nick Fairley. And you can see kind of down onto that right shoulder, the throwing shoulder. So, I mean, you had a collective holding of the breath here inside the stadium.
Well, now you know they're going to pass as they empty the backfield. But now Freeman shifts into the backfield. 3rd and goal. Ryan throws. Jones, incomplete. Sterling Moore defending, so the Falcons will send out their field goal unit.
And I just think in this situation there's an opportunity to run the ball one time in that series. They're just so good at the running back position. You can spread people out and open up that box, let your offensive line get good blocking angles, but they elected to throw the ball each time.
So here's Matt Bryant in his 15th season, 8th year here at Atlanta, heading to his 1st Pro Bowl. 22-yard attempt. Bryant having an outstanding season. Leads the NFL in scoring. Falcons go 95 yards. Kept out of the end zone, but they extend their lead.
Sponsored by Verizon. Join the Better Network because better matters.
Back in Atlanta, there's Matt Bryant. So he is one of 6 Pro Bowlers. When Dan Quinn called him to break the news, Matt said, I hope I can't go. That would mean we are headed to the Super Bowl.
With team success comes individual honors, Kenny.
An NFC high 6 Falcon Pro Bowlers. Back in a moment. The Falcons' new home beginning next season. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, the Saints play in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Can't wait.
Unbelievable. If it's anything close to what this animation is, I mean, we talk about the stadium in Arlington where the Cowboys play. We were up in Minnesota this year to their new stadium. That one looks to be right along those lines. Just beautiful.
Mark Ingram out to the 28. Georgia Dome opened in 1992. So many big events here. 1996 Atlanta Olympics. A couple of Super Bowls, 3 Final Fours. This the 199th Falcons regular season game. And it's the most points they've ever scored in the first half of a game here at the Georgia Dome. They saved the best.
And the final one, there you go, exactly.
2nd down and 7 as Breeze looks to set up the screen. So you look back at the history of this place, and I know you have some great memories here from Super Bowl 28. Of course, the Atlanta Olympics, Final Fours, as we mentioned, and you and Emmett, Cowboys over the Bills, 30-13. 6 years later, the Rams came down to the wire. Tennessee Titans 1 yard away, but Rams would hold on in Super Bowl 34. Huge college game here yesterday. Alabama and Washington as Saints are flagged for a false start.
False start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's on Zach Strief. You think Nick Saban likes this place? He's gone 13-1 here at the Georgia Dome. 9 straight victories for Alabama here.
Has he really? Can you get nuggets even when there's not even really our games?
Well, we were in the vicinity. Some of the players we've been watching today were here. Julio Jones, the honorary captain for Alabama yesterday. Mark Ingram, Roman Harper, watching their alma mater. As Breeze throws and it's broken up, intended for Thomas. Nice play made by the second-year corner out of LSU, Jalen Collins.
And this is a matchup that I think the Saints liked at the start of the game. If they could get Jalen Collins isolated in one-on-one situations with Michael Thomas, it was an area they were going to throw to. That's very well played by Jalen Collins.
Thomas Morstead out to punt. He's been terrific today. As Dan Quinn is over to congratulate Jalen Collins after the play he just made. Taken out the 25 by Eric Weems. And Weems is all the way out to the 40-yard line. Happy birthday, Justin Drescher, the long snapper, makes the tackle. Turns 28 today.
Is sponsored by Burger King. Try the $3.99 Whopper Jr. deal only at BK.
Some leftover confetti from yesterday's college game.
Yeah, quite the celebration afterwards.
All different colors.
Still drifting down, yeah, just keeps falling down from the rafters.
Look out, Laura. First and 10 from the 40-yard line for the Falcons. Matt Ryan still in the game. This is Tevin Coleman. As we approach 4 minutes remaining, third quarter, with the Falcons leading the Saints 38-13. Matt Ryan has got over 300 yards today for the 6th time this season, which brings Matt to within 79 yards of 5,000. Only 6 is Saints medical staff tending to David Yamada as we send it to Los Angeles. Game break, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. We go to Washington now. Redskins having a rough day doing anything offensively, but finally Dustin Hopkins' 32-yard field goal puts them on the board. They're down 10-3. Now remember, if Washington wins, they're in. That's assuming that the Packers and the Lions don't tie later this evening. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. David Onyemata back on his feet, the rookie out of Manitoba, 4th-round pick by the Saints.
That's why I think that, the future is bright for the Saints. They've had a couple of good drafts the last 2 years. Sean Payton's excited about some of the young players. Unfortunately, when you have a situation with injuries, your young guys do get some playing time, maybe a little bit earlier than they would, so some experience gained this season as well.
Play action on 2nd and 9. Ryan thought about going deep. Finds Coleman. Nate Stupar the tackle after a gain of 4. And you mentioned the future is certainly bright for the Saints. Will Sean Payton be there? So many rumors about his future.
It's amazing. It seems week after week, starting about 2-3 weeks ago, that it just kind of picks up and it won't go away. And obviously a lot of people targeting Los Angeles, new franchise out in Los Angeles with the Rams and potentially other spots on the West Coast if the changes are made that open that opportunity up for Sean Payton. So it's been a crazy the last couple of weeks regarding the coaches in the NFL.
We shall see.
Free play from Matt Ryan.
As Ryan fires too far for Aldrick Robinson.
Offside. Defense, number 59. 5-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
Nell Ellerby.
Trying to time that blitz up. Here comes number 59 and just a little bit early. Patrick DeMarco comes up, picks him up. Give your quarterback that opportunity. Give him a free shot down the field.
Aldrick Robinson and Sterling Moore, teammates at SMU. Third down and inches from midfield. And it's Ryan who will pick up a Falcons first down.
That's a nice surge by the offensive line of the Falcons. Getting down in there behind everybody in the push from behind. There's no wavering from head coach Dan Quinn with Matt Ryan in the lineup. He plays it a certain way, trusts his guys.
New set of downs for Atlanta. They wrap up the 2 seed on a bye with a victory today over the Saints. Here's Coleman, another flag.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And maybe Coach Quinn is confident in Matt Ryan because he makes good decisions on the field regarding his safety. You go back to week 3. Here he comes. That's Nick Fairley on the move. We always knew Matt Ryan was smart and made good decisions at quarterback. That's still one of my favorite shots from the season.
Big Fairley said anything to him after he sacked him today. First down and 20 following the Jake Matthews penalty. Four flags.
Ball start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Matthews again.
Back to back. Again, talking about the procedural issues that you had in the beginning of the year. Right now, it seems the only thing that can stop this Falcons offense are the Falcons. There's the big thing there. The only team in the NFL with the same starting 5 all season, and obviously paid huge dividends for this offense.
First down and 25. Quick release to Coleman.
Good recognition by Donnell Ellerby on that play. You think of him as more of kind of that pass rusher, the blitzer from the linebacker position, but really nice recognition on that play to see the quick screen developing on the outside and get outside to break that up.
Ellerby played his college ball at Georgia. Second down and 21. Falcons empty the backfield as we hit 1 minute remaining, third quarter. Ryan steps up on second and 21. He fires downfield for Hardy. He was out of bounds.
Just got to learn to work that sideline with his feet coming out of the middle on the slot. Just a straight go route. Sterling Moore a little bit late adjusting. Drifted a little bit outside by Matt Ryan, but just got to drag that second foot.
Got the right foot in, not the left. Third down and 21 for Atlanta. And Ryan uses a timeout. So Matt Ryan heads over for a chat with Falcons coaching staff. And what a day, what a season it has been for Matt Ryan. Falcons back in the postseason after a 3-year drought. And you mentioned, guys, the pregame show. Who was it? Terry had him as his MVP?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He hasn't disappointed anybody with his performance this afternoon. I think Ezekiel Elliott allows Dallas to go back and play that kind of style with that really good offensive line, ball control style, keep that defense off the field. So he's valuable because of what he does in that team dynamic. And I agree. Some people say Bill Belichick could get Coach of the Year every year. Tom Brady could get MVP of the league every year. And then Aaron Rodgers as well. Those are the 4 guys that we have out there. So I think that Terry makes a great point. Matt Ryan has put up some great numbers this year, and he's going to have a great feel going into the playoffs with the way he finished the season today.
Ryan connects with Freeman. Freeman stays on his feet, fighting for yardage, and he'll be stopped about 3 shy. So on 3rd down and 21, Freeman gains 18.
Well, they converted that big 3rd and 21 last week in Carolina when they were backed up, and almost got another one there. And you wonder if they won't elect to go for it here. As aggressive as Dan Quinn has been with his play calling throughout the year, his decision to keep Matt Ryan in the game right now, he does it one way. And I'm not wavering. This is how we're going about it. We're going to be aggressive.
3rd quarter comes to an end here in Atlanta. 4 touchdown passes for Matt Ryan. We head to the 4th. We head to the 4th quarter in Atlanta with the Falcons leading 38-13. 4th down and 3 from the Saints 41. Falcons send out the punter Matt Bosher. Jarris Byrd is back deep for the Saints. Fair catch called for by Byrd at the 11. Wednesday night, it's a huge college hoop showdown on FS1. 2 of the best of the Big East battle. Josh Hart leads top-ranked Villanova against number 13 Butler. The action tips off Wednesday, 6:30 Eastern on FS1. Drew Brees and the Saints back onto the field. Final quarter of the regular season. Brees earlier in this game, hitting the 5,000 yard mark. Ingram is 16 shy of 1,000 on the ground. First and 10 from the 11-yard line as Brees hits Cadet on the move. And he's tackled after picking up a 1st down by Paul Warlow. Gain of 11 for Cadet.
And you wonder if Mark Ingram will get the opportunity to get those yards rushing to get to 1,000 because of the way the score is and the way that New Orleans offense will have to play here in the 4th quarter.
Here comes Ingram. He needs 16 yards. First and 10 from the 22-yard line as Brees throws over the middle. And Cooks is unable to hang on. As we head for a game break, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. The Giants in Washington. Redskins trailing 10-3 midway through the 4th when Jordan Reed comes up huge for his team. We're all tied up at 10. Of course, the Redskins make the playoffs with a win. Kenny?
So a huge touchdown for the Redskins. As Carissa mentioned, Redskins in with a win as long as the Packers and Lions do not finish in a tie. Redskins had a tie game earlier this season against the Bengals in London. As Brees' pass is nearly picked off. Initially by Keanu Neal. And then Brian Poole had a shot at it.
What a great job jumping this route. Keanu Neal, 22, right back here. Watch him trust his preparation. Boy, he gets there before John Phillips does. And almost Brian Poole on the ricochet. Play like that was made on Wednesday and Thursday, getting ready for this game, watching your film.
3rd down and 10. Brees complete to Thomas. What a catch. Michael Thomas for a Saints 1st down.
Gosh, he's a big target, but watch the late hands. They talk about late hands. That way Jalen Collins can't adjust because by the time he sees that Michael Thomas is going up to get the ball, he's already found himself out of position. So
19 yards for Thomas, and he surpasses Marcus Colston, franchise rookie record for receiving yards. Breeze over the middle, and Snead. Willie Snead inside the 20, stays on his feet, and is finally knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that's we talked about this wide receiver group for the New Orleans Saints, and Willie Snead is one of my favorites. He's just he does all the dirty work, the grit guy. And it's so many times we talk to defensive coordinators that are facing the Saints, and you've got Brandon Cooks and you've got Michael Thomas and all these other guys you've got to worry about. And the one guy they like to talk about is Willie Snead. He just does so many good things well. It's so hard to bring down.
See his numbers. Saints, first time in franchise history, 3 wide receivers with at least 70 receptions. As Breeze throws to the end zone, he was looking for Brandon Coleman. Jalen Collins defending.
Just the confidence with the location of the throws by Drew Brees, and everybody talks about his work ethic and how much he controls the practice. You know, he's worked with these guys. He trusts them when they're in tight man-to-man coverage to put the ball on back shoulder, back hips.
2nd and 10. Breeze, near side, Thomas dives into the end zone. Touchdown.
Oh, what a steal he was in the 2nd round. You saw the numbers that he's put up this season, but then he's got that competitive nature. And Sean Payton has talked to us about it. You know, we try to do walkthroughs, and we've got to tell Michael Thomas, hey, you got to slow it down a little bit. You know, this is just walk-through pace. Now, always wants to compete in everything that he's doing.
That's his 9th touchdown, new Saints rookie record. He had been tied with Marcus Colston and Dante Stallworth. Saints will go for 2. Try and make it an 18-point game. Here's Ingram. Would have made it a 17-point game, but Ingram is stopped. (48-19) Falcons.
Game is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Michael Thomas, new franchise rookie record. 9 touchdown receptions. Early 4th quarter with the Falcons leading by 19. Atlanta sends out their hands team. Julio Jones, Eric Weems, Mohamed Sanu out for this kickoff.
I'm a fan of kind of blooping it down into the corner in this situation. 12:40 to go. You got all 3 timeouts. Obviously, it's going to be hard to convert this.
6 Saints to the right, bottom of your screen. Now some movement, and Lutz kicks it deep.
That's perfect.
Hardy from the 2. Penalty marker as Hardy is upended at the 17. A second flag has been thrown.
Really nice execution by Will Lutz on that, making them field it and return it.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 12 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. Atlanta's ball, first down.
Yeah, because you get guys on the field that aren't used to blocking, Kenny. So Mohamed Sanu. And there's a surprise.
Back on the field for the Falcons. Matt Ryan and the Falcons heading back to the postseason. Ryan's regular season record. And in the postseason, Darryl, 1-4.
Yeah, one of the reasons why this is such an important season, he was committed to it. He wants to get into the postseason and make some noise. You saw the record there, just 1-4. Wants another opportunity to get back and improve on that record.
2012 season, went to the NFC Championship game, lost to the 49ers. This is Coleman. Coleman out to the 9-yard line.
And we touched on this. You want to be the team that's going into the playoffs playing at a very, very high level. And Matt talked about getting better and better each week, and you have watched that through the course of the season. We break the season down into quarters. They were 3-1 in the first. They follow up the second and third at 2-2. They're 3-0 right now, so they could be 4-0 in that last quarter. You know, big victory here the last 2 weeks in the division, and then moving into the playoffs with a ton of confidence, playing very, very well offensively.
Had a look at the backup quarterback, veteran Matt Schaub, who has started 92 games in his NFL career. And he's been a huge asset for Matt Ryan as Coleman picks up a first down. Matt Schaub comes up with tests every week and practice. Started his career in Atlanta, in Houston for 7 years, and
the term that Coach Quinn likes to use is iron sharpens iron here, and you know it exists throughout the team. And one of the examples that he used was Matt Schaub, you know, following Matt Ryan around, like you're saying, Kenny, asking him questions, you know, testing him on the game plan.
New set of downs for Atlanta. Coleman out across the 20. And for more on Matt Ryan, downstairs to Laura.
Well, along with that iron sharpens iron, the other word that the Falcons use all the time is brotherhood. Dan Quinn challenged Matt to make deeper connections with coaches and players this offseason. Matt said the biggest thing he learned from it, relationships matter. He started this offseason when he took 27 guys to Miami for 3 days, guys he didn't know well. Continues today. He said, I come into this building and I'm not just focused on my work. I have lunch with guys I don't normally connect with. I stop and talk. I slow down. I'm more mindful of building connections. And that's one of the reasons why every guy will tell you it's one of the most connected locker rooms they've ever been in.
Thanks, Laura. Ryan in his 9th season here in Atlanta on 2nd and 7. It is Coleman once again. And a timeout is taken by the Saints. They stop the clock with 10:26 remaining. And we will head to Los Angeles once again for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Stop if you've seen this before. Kansas City's Tyreek Hill. 95 yards on the punt return for a touchdown. Right now, Kansas City's in firm control against San Diego. They're up 34-20. Oakland is losing big at Denver, so it looks like Kansas City is going to be champions of the AFC West and the number 2 seed going into the AFC playoff. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Kurt.
Talk about teams in the NFC, you know, who's going to challenge that number 1 seed in Dallas. I think the same conversation in the AFC, who's going to challenge New England. I really think the Kansas City Chiefs, because they can do so many different things well. And I think they got a bad taste in their mouth after what happened to them last year in the playoffs against the Patriots.
3rd down and 6. Ryan throws, broken up. Pass was intended for Nick Williams. Getting a piece of it, rookie out of Texas A&M, Devontae Harper.
This is very well done, well played. Making the undercut on the break. Good hand-to-eye coordination to knock that ball down.
Bosher out to punt. For the 3rd time, Tommy Lee Lewis. Back deep for the Saints. Taken at the 20. There's a flag. Lewis, 9-yard return. Sean Payton says make him punt it again.
Illegal formation by the kicking team. Number 53 was lined up in the backfield. New Orleans has elected to take the 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and replay 4th down.
I've always felt that benefits the return team, the coverage team working hard to get down the field, usually bigger bodied guys. So if you force them to do it again, it definitely tips that way.
So it negates the 58-yard punt. Bosher will do it again.
seen Tommy Lee Lewis. I mean, that last one goes on the ground. We saw him earlier in the game have one that he bobbled a little bit, was able to get control of it on a fair catch. I mean, he's got exceptional potential as a returner. In the open field, he's very, very good, but he's got to become a little bit better on fielding these punts.
Lewis from the 25. Out to the 32-yard line. 57-yard punt. Saints offense back on the field.
Is sponsored by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Back in Atlanta, Drew Brees and the Saints start from their 32-yard line. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Brees throws on first down, complete to Thomas. Michael Thomas into Falcons territory with his 6th catch today. He gains 22 yards and goes over 100 for the day.
I just don't know how you defend that. It's covered well at the start on a simple fade route down the sideline, and the chemistry that Drew Brees has already developed with Michael Thomas on those back shoulder throws. Very impressive.
And with that reception, Thomas ties Reggie Bush. 88 receptions, Saints rookie mark. Brees swings it out. It's Ingram. Stutter step and then down at the 49 as he loses 3 yards. Darryl, in NFL history, only one team has had a 5,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, and 2,000-yard receivers. This year's Saints have 3 of the 4, with Ingram 16 yards away on the ground.
But will the complexion of this game allow the opportunity for Mark Ingram to get those 16 yards to go over 1,000, trailing by 19?
Brees 5,000 check. Cooks Thomas 1,000 receiving check. Ingram 16 shy. Off the fake to Ingram. Brees steps up and throws, and it's deflected. Ryan Poole made a number of big plays today, getting a piece of it.
And that's what happens when you have your eyes on the quarterback in that zone defense, because he's actually going to be covering the flat. He's right here. He's going to be covering the flat. That's his responsibility, but he's got eyes on the quarterback, and all of a sudden he sees the adjustment. They're trying to throw it behind him with Brandon Cooks moving into the middle of the field, but because he had his eyes on the quarterback, he makes the adjustment for the deflection.
3rd down and 13. Brees throws, nice catch. Snead gathered it in with one hand, and now the ball comes loose on the big hit, but it winds up out of bounds.
What a big hit. He was Keanu Neal on the hit, but what a great catch and run by Willie Snead. We talked about him. He's the tough guy. Yeah, he's going to wave everybody off. But that is a big hit. Watch this catch. Back, I mean, it's on the back shoulder, one hand, just in stride, never breaks stride. And then the big hit by Keanu Neal.
Snead to the sidelines. Back in a moment. Willie Snead checked out by the Saints medical staff after taking that big hit from Keanu Neal.
Keanu Neal heading inside to the locker room.
1st and 10 for the Saints from the Falcons' 22-yard line as Brees throws. End zone cadet. And it gets broken up. Deion Jones, the linebacker, hustling back to make the play.
We talked about what the Falcons running backs can do. Travaris Cadet can do that same thing, split out wide here. Pressure on Drew Brees does not allow this to be thrown as well as he would have liked. He had a lot of pressure up in his face, couldn't get enough on it to get it over the top.
Looked like it hit the left shoulder of Jones. Now 2nd and 10. 4 receivers set, empty backfield. Brees near side, it's Coleman. Brandon Coleman out of bounds at the 14-yard line to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee.
Well, we're guessing because of the score in your game. Seattle has pulled Russell Wilson. They're taking on San Francisco with Trevon Boykin in the game now. Colin Kaepernick trying to lead the 49ers on the comeback, picking up with Garrett Selleck for a 9-yard score to make it a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. Kenny Moose and Laura.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. Yes, the Seahawks know that a Falcons win and Atlanta would clinch the number 2 seed on a first-round bye. 3rd down and 2. Breeze on the slant, and Thomas picks up a first down to the Atlanta 9-yard line. And that will set the new Saints rookie record. 89th reception of the season for Thomas. There's Snead, injured earlier on this drive. First and goal from the Falcons 9. Breeze to the end zone. It is picked off. Jalen Collins fighting off Michael Thomas to come up with the interception.
We touched on it earlier in the game that was a matchup that the Saints liked. If they could get Michael Thomas isolated against Jalen Collins, felt that was a matchup that was in their favor. And Jalen Collins said he'll have none of that. And we've seen the chemistry between these two earlier on this drive with some back shoulder throws. This one, the ball is kind of into the middle. Don't know what happened right at the point of the catch, but definitely favors Jalen Collins, the defender. He sat on it. That is really well done. The back shoulder fade is one of the hardest plays to defend. And he had his eyes on Michael Thomas, and as soon as Michael Thomas slowed down, he slowed down immediately and ends up right in the throwing lane, has an opportunity to compete for the interception.
Second of the season, had his first last week against Cam Newton. This is surprising to me, Darryl, that Matt Ryan's still in at this point. Under 7 minutes remaining, 19-point game. Freeman out to the 24.
I think you have a plan and a process in place, and this is something that Dan Quinn had in his mind when he came onto the field today, and maybe just for a simple reason like that, to make sure you've got your guys playing clean, playing smart. But you cannot live your life afraid of worst case scenarios. You can't coach your football team afraid of worst case scenarios. And that's really when Derek Carr went down and Marcus Mariota went down, I think that there was this reaction around the country with NFL fans that had teams that were vying for playoff spots or had things secured. We can't allow that to happen to our team. We've seen what's happened to Oakland here this afternoon.
Dak Prescott pulled early today. Kurt told us Russell Wilson out of the game for Seattle.
The good thing for Atlanta is they can come out and they can get great work for their offensive line. They can get great work for Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman running the football. They can do things to keep Matt Ryan safe in this situation and still continue to keep that efficiency that they've played with here this afternoon. That is the biggest fear of the coach going into the playoffs. The decision he makes, whether to sit players down or continue to play them or make adjustments to your roster or your MO as you go through the year, is you lose that confidence, you lose that consistency right as you head into the playoffs.
In case you're wondering, Matt Ryan 53 yards shy of 5,000 for the season. Quick release. It's Sanu, and now the Falcons will punt it away.
And who knows if that weighs into it. There were several times in the last game of the NFL season with Emmitt Smith as our running back that Barry Foster put up numbers to kind of get the lead in the NFL rushing championship. And we knew we had specific numbers coming onto the field as the late game, knowing what we had to rush for that day to make sure Emmitt became the leading rusher in the NFL. So the guys are aware of it. Players are aware of that. Is our people aware that Matt is that close to 5,000 yards? It's a huge threshold for a quarterback, and we've talked about the season that Matt Ryan has had. Maybe that's one of the things that's factoring into this decision.
It's unlikely with 5:16 remaining, but it has never happened. Two quarterbacks have never reached 5,000 yards in the same game. Breeze doing it for the 5th time in his career earlier today. Bosher punting from his 13-yard line. Tommy Lee Lewis out to the 35. C.J. Goodwin, the special teams tackle. There is a flag. 2 flags have been thrown. Well, you mentioned Bill Belichick earlier, Coach of the Year discussion. What a season for Jason Garrett of the Cowboys, Jack Del Rio, Dan Quinn, Adam Gase. Who would you go with?
There's a lot of great candidates right there, but I like Jason Garrett, and not because of what he did this season, but what he's done throughout his tenure as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Quinn is very similar to Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett has a plan. He talks about the process. You go through it. He's 12-4 2 years ago, drops to 4-12 last year. He never deviates from his plan. He creates a culture within the locker room that the players enjoy being in. And I see a lot of those same characteristics here in Atlanta underneath Dan Quinn as head coach. So I would give it to Jason Garrett, not based on what he's done this year, but I know that's the most important thing is what did you do this year. But for me, it's that consistency. That's what's allowed him to have the season that he's had this year with the Dallas Cowboys.
Dan Quinn holds Jason Garrett in high regard. They coached together under Nick Saban with the Miami Dolphins.
I had how good was that staff? The players the coaches that were on that staff with Nick Saban down in Miami. Mike Mularkey, Scott Linehan, Dan Quinn, Jason Garrett, Hudson Houck,
Dom Capers.
It's unbelievable.
Falcons penalty on the punt. So the Saints start from midfield. Will they try and get Ingram to 1,000? This is Ingram forced to the outside. And he gains 2. So he now needs 14 yards to reach that magical mark. A couple of former Falcon coaches are in the building today. We saw some of the alumni at halftime. As Sean Payton, well aware of how close Mark Ingram is to 1,000. Jerry Glanville, June Jones in the building as part of the Falcons celebration, their final regular season game at the Georgia Dome. This is Ingram. There he goes. Over 1,000 and still going.
Well done. There's people clapping on the Saints sideline. So, nice job by the Saints defense getting the Falcons off the field. A 38-yard run by Mark Ingram to put him over the 1,000-yard mark.
In his 6th season, first Saint to do it since Deuce McAllister back in 2006.
Really happy for Mark Ingram. Really, he has worked hard this season, worked hard in the offseason. Really happy that he got through that milestone.
There's Ingram again. We talked to him yesterday. He said it's so difficult to stay healthy for 16 games. He missed the last 4 last season with an injury. And he is now the first Saint to do it since Deuce McAllister.
And it's hard to do today because of how specialized and the running back by committee approach, the rules favor the passing game. There's a lot of reasons. So, about a decade and a half ago, people started talking about the 1,000-yard rushing mark, that threshold not being as meaningful as it was back in the 12-game season, the 14-game season. But in today's game, I think it's still a big deal because it's a testament to being healthy all year.
And now Ingram will be stopped just short.
Unfortunately, it looks like that knee is going to go down before he can get that ball stretched out. Yeah.
Third and goal. It's Ingram. Dives over the top, extends for a Saints touchdown. So a 1,000-yard season and a touchdown on the same drive for Mark Ingram.
Really, really happy that the play calling went the way it did on this drive to give Mark Ingram this opportunity. Very deserving of it. And how prolific now does this offense become? Now only the second group to have those numbers that we showed you with the Broncos earlier. And here's the good news for Saints fans. With Dennis Allen in place as the defensive coordinator, I think they're finally moving in the right direction there. It's been a search, and it's been a tough go the last 4 or 5 years for this Saints team because of the defensive side of the ball. I think Sean Payton now with Dennis Allen, if he is still here, I think that you're going to start to see this team really function more complementary.
Saints go for 2 off the fake to Hightower. Breeze looking for Hightower. He could not make the catch. So it's a 13-point game. Mark Ingram had all 50 yards on that drive for the New Orleans Saints.
And here's the big one over the top, a real quick hitter with a trap on the inside, blocked very well by the Saints offensive line up front. And then here's what I've enjoyed about Mark Ingram all season, the physicality of his running style. And to do that for the 16 weeks, and then you allow him to put the exclamation point not only on that drive, but on the 1,000-yard mark that he just crossed.
Only the 7th Saint in history to rush for 1,000 yards in one season in their 50th anniversary season. Zach Strief comes over for a hug. Well, we had a look earlier, Darryl, at those 4 Denver Broncos, and now the Saints join the 2013 Broncos, only teams in NFL history with a 5,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher, 2,000-yard receivers.
And with the firepower that they have on the offensive side of the ball, you know, now that that defense is starting to move in the right direction, I think there's some promising things coming for the Saints.
Hands came back out for the Falcons, and the Saints have recovered.
It's very important for the interior guys on the front line of the onside kick to have good judgment. This is hot and fast.
By the receiving team, then recovered legally by the kicking
Touch to
team.
Falcon. Saints recovered. Brandon Cooks on the recovery after it hit Patrick DeMarco of Atlanta.
You have to be aware of where that ball is. Your job is to step across and create a wall for the second line to be able to field it, but you have to recognize where that ball is. They did not pay attention to that. The ball actually collided with the Falcons player to become a live ball even short of the 10 yards.
Thirteen-point game. Drew Brees and the New Orleans offense back out on the field with 2:46 remaining. Brees on first down, complete to Fleener. Out to the 47.
Took a look out there right away to see if Keanu Neal was out there. He is back in the defensive lineup on the field, right here back in your deep half area. So I was wondering if Drew Brees was going to test if there was a new safety there.
2nd and 6. Broken out by Jones. Intended for Cadet.
I'll tell you, that's some great athleticism. When you can stay with Travaris Cadet as a linebacker, a guy who's expected to play inside and take on guards and stop the running game, but also be athletic enough to cover Travaris Cadet. Well done, Deion Jones.
3rd down and 6. Brees fires, and Cooks could not make the catch. And remains down.
I wonder if just going up to make that catch and you come down, and again, it's the head to the turf is another one of the areas where we're having the concussion issues.
So Brandon Cooks is the injured Saint. Back in a moment. Brandon Cooks back on his feet.
And it's one of the ones that the NFL is trying to figure out. It's the contact with the helmet, with the head, into the surface, the playing surfaces, artificial turf, inside, natural grass. It doesn't matter. You're going up to make a play like that. The first thing that makes contact with the ground is the head. And that's just like a helmet-to-helmet contact, collision. So, great news that Brandon Cooks was able to pop back up and get over to the sideline.
Saints already lost Willie Snead earlier. facing a 4th down and 5. They must get to the Falcons 47. Fake toss to Cadet as Breeze sets and throws, and the Saints pick up the first down. It's Thomas again. What a day he's had.
He really has. I mean, he's becoming a go-to guy here, but I love the play design. You know, you get the fake pitch to Travaris Cadet, you get flow moving that way, you set up in the pocket, and you've got crossing routes coming right into your field of vision. Look at the push-up on, and then the quick snap out by Michael Thomas. He got Jalen Collins to turn and go down the field vertical with just that little move up the stem.
3rd and final charge timeout, Atlanta. This is
So the Falcons have used their final timeout, leading the Saints by 13. We welcome those of you who have just joined us. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oatman from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. 2:13 remaining. Saints with 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. They trailed 38-13. It's now a 13-point deficit. Breeze complete to Michael Thomas, his 9th reception today. As the clock winds down, and we hit the 2-minute warning. Final regular season game ever here at the Georgia Dome. Falcons with a win will earn the number 2 seed and a bye.
Game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Atlanta Falcons know they will host at least one playoff game. This is the final regular season game at the Georgia Dome. They lead the Saints 38-25 following the 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 5 for New Orleans. Breeze over the middle. And the catch is made at the 25-yard line by Cadet. Saints already with 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. Breeze throws short. He was looking for Brandon Coleman.
Yeah, Brandon Coleman had to ease that one down because if Drew Brees would have thrown that up the numbers, he would have led him right into a big hit by the safety. So he's trying to get him to gear back a little bit.
Saints without a couple of receivers injured here in the 4th quarter, both Willie Snead and Brandon Cooks. 4th down and 1 for the Saints. Mark Ingram in the backfield. Hit the 1,000-yard mark earlier in this quarter for the first time in his career. This is Ingram, and he picks up the first down and more. So the Saints keep their drive alive. Ingram to the Atlanta 17.
That's a good tackle by C.J. Goodwin. I thought he had him set up. I thought Mark Ingram had set him up to the inside and was going to be able to break outside. Would have had a clear path to the end zone.
3rd 100-yard game of the season for Ingram. Breeze on 1st down. Over the top, it's Ingram. And he's tackled at the Atlanta 12. And now the Saints will use their final timeout with 1:06 remaining in the 4th, trailing the Falcons by 13. An Atlanta win, and they clinch the number 2 seed in the bye, but the Saints certainly not giving up here in the 4th quarter.
No, and again, this is one of the things I really enjoyed about what the NFL has done with the divisional games at the end of the season. They are always meaningful, and New Orleans had nothing to play for. They're not in the playoffs. Atlanta, an opportunity to get the number 2 seed, but because it's a divisional game, that rivalry creates the meaning that's there, and it's been a great game. We had the number 1, number 2 offense in the NFL going at it today. First half was fantastic, and we've had some great individual efforts during the course of the afternoon. Matt Ryan continues to play at a very high level. The guys in the Saints offense putting up some great numbers again this afternoon. So it's been a fun game, and you would have never been able to tell anybody that this was a meaningless game to either one of these teams.
The 2 highest scoring teams in the league, they combined for 77 points in the first meeting. Breeze to the end zone, and it's broken up. Intended for the tight end, Colby Fleener. Devondre Campbell getting a hand on it.
It was funny. We had the Saints in week 2, and it was actually week 3 when these two teams squared off. And that was kind of Coby Fleener's breakout game against the Falcons there in week 3. A lot of people wondering when he was going to be able to have that production that the tight ends have had in this system, but hasn't been there for him this afternoon, but a tough afternoon for Coby Fleener.
Over 900 yards of total offense over the first 59 minutes. Breeze to Thomas. Michael Thomas has a Saints first down. His 10th catch today. A huge game for Thomas. 10 receptions, 156 yards. We welcome a new audience here in Atlanta from the Georgia Dome. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman. John Payton Saints are ready with 2 touchdowns here in the fourth quarter. They pulled to within 13. They recovered an onside kick and are now 3 yards away from scoring again with 45 seconds on the clock. Breeze throws, and in for the touchdown is Cadet on the 50th pass attempt by Drew Brees this afternoon. Third fourth quarter touchdown for the New Orleans Saints.
And what a really nice job by Travaris Cadet holding on to that pass. And Jalen Collins is breaking on the ball. Not sure, as soon as he turns up, here comes Jalen Collins. Good hit right there. Nice job holding on to it. Right now we've got Michael Thomas down in the end zone.
What a day he's had. 10 receptions, 156 yards, a touchdown. He sets a new Saints record for receptions and receiving yards by a rookie, as well as touchdowns. Saints have already lost 2 wide receivers to injuries this quarter. First Willie Snead, then Brandon Cooks, and now Thomas shaken up.
Yeah, and they had a couple wide receivers on the roster. Jake Lampman and Corey Fuller inactive today. So at this point right now, you're down to just 3 of them. So if they're able to execute another onside kick, get that offense back on the field, they'll be very limited in what they can do from a personnel situation.
Three fourth quarter touchdowns for the New Orleans Saints. Falcons with a win clinch the number 2 seed of the NFC and a first round bye. Atlanta had a 38-13 lead. Matt Ryan with 4 first half touchdown passes. So it's now a 1-score game. Here is Lutz for the extra point. And the Saints have pulled to within 6 with 39 seconds remaining.
And we've been speculating about Matt Ryan still being in the game. He got off to a great start, put up huge numbers. You mentioned 38-13 at one point. There's Tevin Coleman. And again this afternoon, the ball just distributed across the formation to all the skill players on this Atlanta offense. And we've been wondering here in the second half, when would Dan Quinn, if Dan Quinn would make the decision to bring Matt Ryan to the sideline and send Matt Schaub out. And obviously, sitting at 38-32, he has respect and understands how explosive this Saints offense is.
Saints executed and recovered an onside kick earlier in this fourth quarter.
And you have to be aware of that front line going up to protect the secondary guys who are really the guys who are assigned to making that recovery. You have to be aware of where that football is. Will Lutz was able to kick it into an Atlanta player and make it a live football.
Another onside kick attempt, and this time it is the Falcons who recover. Mohamed Sanu. So that should wrap up the number 2 seed for Atlanta. Dan Quinn relieved, takes off the equipment, the headset. The 199th and final regular season game here. Falcons scored touchdowns on their first 5 drives. Drew Brees, his 5th 5,000-yard season. There have been only 4 others in NFL history. And Michael Thomas sets 3 Saints rookie franchise record. So now we look forward to the OT.
How fun is this division going to be moving forward? So you've got Carolina, the defending NFC champions that had a tough year this year. Now you've got the Falcons, the new NFC South champions. I think Saints fans should be excited about what their organization is going to do. The big question mark, where's Sean Payton going to be next year? But with the defense improving to go along with that offense, and then Tampa Bay was alive for the playoffs up until last week. They were there today, but it would have been a miracle for them to make it in. So I think this NFC South is going to be fun to watch next season.
Sure will be. Great job by our entire crew. Producer Barry Landis, Director Brian Lilly, Associate Director Joe Williams, Broadcast Associate Paul Marlborough, our technical producer Sid Drexler, Technical Director Jared Legrani, Dave Corris, Rick Camps, Ben Boma crunching the numbers. So the Falcons clinch the number 2 seed. Back to Atlanta in a moment.